This episode of Internet Today is brought to you by Honey.
Hey, we want to start out today's episode with a huge thank you to everyone who came out to see us live in Austin, Texas this past Friday. It was amazing getting to meet all of you and see some people that we'd already met before. And we had a great time on stage attempting to make you laugh while probably freaking out a lot of people who were there just to see Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, I feel like when I said that furries are braver than the troops, there was some audible gasps in the crowd. And I was like,
who are these guys? It was truly a memorable experience. We can't wait to do more live shows in the future. So thank you again for coming out and making it such a special night.
For at least one night and hopefully many more to come, America was truly back.
Here in Austin! Hey! We did it! America is back! America is back!
And in addition to the wonderful time in Austin, I got to experience firsthand the chaotic air travel meltdown that crippled the entire southeast portion of the United States and resulted in somewhere around 3,500 canceled flights. It was certainly a wild experience, but let's get into our main story today, which is the fact that in addition to companies like Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink, Elon Musk now owns one of the largest social media apps in the world, Twitter.com. Sort of. He sort of owns Twitter.com.
Yeah, so on Monday of this week, thanks to a regulatory filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, it was made public that Elon Musk purchased stock in Twitter equal to 9.2% of the entire company, making Musk the largest single shareholder of the social media brand, which would give him a bigger portion of Twitter than even its founder, Jack Dorsey, who now only owns just a little over 2% of the company and seems to have mostly just moved on emotionally.
Yeah, he resigned from his position.
He's all about that Bitcoin now.
Block, which used to be Square, but now it's Block.
It's three-dimensional.
Yes.
Because it's Web 3.
But still, it is odd for the founder and very recently former head of Twitter to own less than a third of Elon Musk, who seems to have just bought it out of spite.
I mean, it's never been a profitable company.
No.
I think it has been profitable just in the last couple of years, but barely.
Yeah.
It's one of those tech brands that seems like it would be valuable, but then you think about it and you're like, no, not really. What do they have to offer? But this is a very particularly interesting scenario that we've got here. Musk has been very critical of Twitter in recent months due to what he views as the company's restrictions of his free speech. Since the platform is seen falsely as the public square of the internet, that's just a concept people made up in recent years. It's not a thing. Mm-hmm. And while his documents related to the purchase of stock indicate that the investment will be passive, buying a majority stake of a company that you're critical of is clearly trying to send a message, whether he does nothing with his newfound power or not.
Yeah, it's a statement.
And it's not a majority stake, it's just the largest stake.
Yeah, it's the largest single stake. I think there's like a big investment firm is the next biggest.
Yeah.
And then somewhere down the line is Jack Dorsey at 2% of it. But it does give him a seat at the table if he so chooses. And he could, in theory, become part of Twitter's board.
Yeah.
But at the very least, the company kind of has to look and be like, well, this guy owns nearly 10% of the company, so you can't really ban him, right? Right?
He was never going to get banned, though.
I know, but here's more from the New York Times on this. Mr. Musk has criticized the company in recent weeks for failing, in his view, to adhere to free speech principles, and he has openly considered starting a social network of his own that would be open source. His long and complicated personal relationship with the platform has also gotten him into trouble, with his tweets about Tesla's finances resulting in legal wranglings with the SEC. It is unclear what Mr. Musk's plans are beyond the large shareholder position and whether he'll ask or be invited to join Twitter's board. Mr. Musk filed a securities document indicating that he planned for the investment to be passive, meaning he does not intend to pursue control of the company. But there was also speculation Monday that he could change the status of his investment, continue buying shares, or even try to acquire the company outright, today's DealBook newsletter reported.
Or he could just be setting Twitter stock up to be the next GameStop, Dogecoin, AMC sort of thing.
Yeah, it does get a little bit weird with recent tweets that he's made, and we'll get to those, but yeah.
If nothing else, it's a big swinging dick move from Elon Musk that puts Twitter in an extremely awkward position because he's already run afoul of their TOS in the past and has recently attempted to have one account in particular removed from the website for tracking the movements of his private jet.
What's funny about that is, like, if for some reason this was some spite move to get control of things on Twitter, like, the kid who made that account was like, yeah, just give me a Tesla and I'll take it down. And instead, Musk invested $3 billion into the company. Like, if it turns out that he does get this guy banned, which probably won't happen, but if it does turn out, it would just be hilarious that he was just like, I'm just going to put $3 billion over here temporarily, make $1 billion off of that investment, and get this guy's account banned.
So yeah, even if his investment in Twitter is just passive, he has already made a substantial return on that initial investment because the stock, of course, upon this news breaking, was up around 25% from the price that he paid for it back in mid-March. And the stock shot up an additional 25% in value when his purchase was announced Monday morning, making him over $1 billion in profit in just over 2 weeks. But the timing of this is almost certainly going to turn some heads at the SEC, which already has a target on Elon's back because of his use of his personal Twitter account related to potential price manipulation. If the dates on the filings are correct, and why wouldn't they be, Musk purchased a majority stake in the company on or around March 14th, then tweeted out polls critical of the company, followed by comments about the potential need for an entirely new platform 10 days after his stock purchase. I don't think they're going to get him on this, but yes, it was very calculated.
Yeah, it's
This guy's not just sitting on Twitter memeing. He's chasing that dollar.
It is strange that he bought so much stock and then was like, hey, by the way, fuck this place, right? Because you would assume that the goal would be to drive it down even further and continue buying more.
Yeah, I don't know.
But either way, on March 25th, he sent out a tweet with a poll that stated, free speech is essential to a functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to this principle? With a follow-up tweet saying, the consequences of this poll will be important. Please vote carefully. The next day, he quote tweeted that poll, adding, given that Twitter serves as the de facto public town square,
It does not.
failing to adhere to free speech principles fundamentally undermines democracy. What should be done? Adding, is a new platform needed? And he posed these questions and made these statements while technically owning nearly 10% of the entire company and technically having, at least in ownership, more power than Jack Dorsey, which is a bit odd. Once the news of his purchase went public, he just simply tweeted, oh, hi, lol. But yeah, he has made already like over $1 billion in this investment. And just the announcement that he invested in it, like you said, it was already going back up because, as we all know, like the tech stocks in particular had been just decimated in the beginning quarter of this year.
The whole NASDAQ was down, took the worst dip in like 5 years recently. So everything's kind of just been on the upswing again.
And then when this came out, it just shot up immediately. So if he sold on the news that he had bought the stock, he made more money than anyone will ever make in a lifetime. Just by throwing his money somewhere for 2 weeks and being who he is.
But again, back to the public square thing. Please just do your own research and look up how many people in the United States actually use Twitter on a regular basis, and then look up the actual population of the United States. It's like saying fucking Applebee's is the public square.
Now, Elliot, I will not have you besmirch the good name of Applebee's on this show.
This isn't a value judgment.
Yeah.
But
if there is a de facto public square anymore, I'd like to think it's our favorite neighborhood bar and grill.
It's probably Starbucks, honestly.
Yeah.
If any one like business is.
It was like it was very obvious.
But just because everyone hangs out in Starbucks all the time doesn't mean Starbucks suddenly has to adhere perfectly to the U.S. Constitution.
They tweet from Starbucks, so it's double dipping in the town square.
Anyway, we honestly have no idea what Elon plans to do with his new investment in Twitter, but he at least proved that he does have the money to just take over a company when he disagrees with the direction that they're going or how they're treating him personally, which is definitely very unsettling. But it also proves that one person in particular doesn't and probably never had the funds to really do such a thing. Donald Trump, who's been banned from Twitter for well over a year now.
1 year.
Wow.
January of last year. Yeah.
Time does fly. Instead of engaging in a hostile takeover of the publicly traded brand, he just decided to make his own social network. Mm-hmm. Truth Social. So, hold on. What's going on with Truth Social? Let's check in on how that's going, and not good, apparently. So if you remember our attempts to cover the launch of Truth Social, you'll know that it was basically inaccessible for days, leading into weeks, with only a relatively small number of people actually making it through the sign-up process and getting access to the app. And we assume that a significant amount of those signups were just people who were curious about the inevitable shit show that would play out once inside. When it was too hard to even sign up to see that, we gave up. We assume most other people did. It's like, okay, well,
this is stupid.
I want it, but I don't want it that bad.
Yeah. So the official stance on the botched launch was that it was always supposed to take weeks to roll out, which is bullshit because that's not exactly how you want to enter an already packed marketplace, by failing. But former Congressman and current Trump media executive Devin Nunes indicated that, look, all these problems, they're going to be ironed out. Everything's going to be smooth as silk by the end of March. His words.
Okay.
End of March.
And now it's
April now.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the end of March, the Truth would be running smoothly. It would quickly overtake Twitter as the social media app of choice, and therefore the de facto public square.
So yeah, okay, John Travolta.
Where's my truth?
Where's truth?
Sadly, or not, depending on your view, problems, of course, persisted.
Wow.
And it is now April with no sign of stability at all for the platform. Not to mention how obviously ironic it was that Truth Social was pitched as the ultimate free speech platform that actually had more restrictions on speech in their TOS than other platforms. Well, it looks like things are even worse than everyone expected because not only has the app been branded a complete disaster, it's already losing some top executives who are fleeing the sinking ship.
Oh.
Also, Trump hasn't posted a truth in over a month. His sons only joined the app just last week. And Roger Stone has now come out against Truth, saying that he, of all people, is being actively censored on this app.
Sounds like things are going just great. So let's start with this report from the BBC. Truth Social might look like Twitter, but it isn't available on Android phones, web browsers, or apparently to most people outside the US. It's been a disaster, Joshua Tucker, director of NYU Center for Social Media and Politics, said. And a Republican ally of Mr. Trump's, who did not wish to be identified, said, nobody seems to know what's going on.
Please don't identify me.
On 21st of February, Truth Social was one of the App Store's most downloaded apps, but many who downloaded it were unable to use it. There was an assumption this problem would soon be resolved and Mr. Trump would start posting his truths in the coming days, but neither of those things happened. While YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook are among the 10 most downloaded apps, according to SimilarWeb, Truth Social is outside the top 100. Users who find their way in can find the app a little empty, as many big voices on the American right have so far stayed away. Another study found downloads have fallen by as much as 95%. Mr. Trump is said to be furious, asking why more people are not using Truth Social. He has about 750,000 followers, but has not posted a truth for well over a month.
I like how he's like, why is no one using this when he himself not using it? He's still very active on his own website. Did you see his post about golfing?
Oh yeah, he's like, actually that one, like
I actually couldn't find that on his actual website. So
no, it was real.
Okay,
but yeah, it's impossible to find this thing. Like if more than a day goes by, good luck, because they're all just titled "Statement from Former President." Yeah. But yeah, he got a hole in one while golfing. He was very proud of himself, and he's like, listen, no one likes a braggart. I'm a very humble guy, but I did it. I got the hole in one. Yeah. And it was amazing.
It's a paragraph worth of retelling of that story. But yeah, reporting from the Daily Beast indicates that, quote, daily active users, a metric that social media and tech companies use to measure how many engaged users an app has, stood at just 513,000 as of last week. By contrast, daily active users at Twitter, Trump's erstwhile and beloved social media home, were around 217 million. So yeah, a big disparity in the numbers there. Not really. They were planning on, completely overtaking Twitter, and they're not doing that. And they had their best chance at getting any amount of numbers right when it was released, when everyone was going to be signing up, and they completely botched that. So,
wow, turns out this social media stuff is a little harder than we thought.
Yeah, and it's really funny for Devin Nunes, who quit his job in politics in order to become the head of essentially Truth Social.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Now, regarding the executives who have already bailed on the company just over a month after its launch, Reuters reports that, quote, Josh Adams and Billy Boozer, the company's chiefs of technology and product development, joined the venture last year and quickly became central players in its bid to build a social media empire backed by Trump's powerful brand to counter what many conservatives deride as cancel culture censorship from the left. Less than a year later, both have resigned their senior posts at a critical juncture for the company's smartphone app release plans, according to two sources familiar with the venture.
Quote, "If Josh has left, all bets are off," one of those sources said of tech chief Adams, calling him the brains behind Truth Social's technology. Another source familiar with the venture said that Boozer also had a major leadership role as product chief, running management across technology, infrastructure, design, and development teams. But hey, maybe with his majority stake in Twitter, Elon Musk will be able to give Trump his old Twitter account back.
Yeah.
Would love to see what he had to say about the slap.
I don't even know if he posted it. I don't think he posted about it on his website.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's already a major theory circulating online. It's like, oh, he's going to bring back Trump. But, I mean, that would immediately negate the need for Truth Social. So that would kill that immediately. So it'd actually be sort of funny if he did that.
It would also...
Your favorite president is back.
I'm being realistic in saying that if he did bring Trump back to Twitter, the stock would skyrocket again. So it's like... Elon Musk stands to make an additional couple $1 billion by bringing Trump back to Twitter.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So it wouldn't be the first time or the 10th time that a Trump-branded product failed to live up to its promises.
So, yeah, this is right in line with everything else, Truth Social. Right in line with all the other Trump products, including the Melania NFT, which it turns out she bought it herself. Or her team bought it herself.
Wow, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I'm appalled.
Anyways, we do have more news for you coming up in just a second. But first, let's take a quick moment to thank today's sponsor, Honey. Honey is the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or your computer. We all shop online. We've all seen that promo code field taunting us at checkout. But thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one that it finds to your cart. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online, ranging from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular fashion brands and even food delivery. Here's how it works. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. You wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons it can find for that site, and if Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop.
So yeah, I bought a computer a few months back, and a random Honey coupon at checkout saved me literally hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
It was wild. So thank you, Honey. Thanks, Honey.
I'm always buying random knickknacks, and it always gives me something. There's always something, some kind of small discount, but it adds up over the course of a year. It does good things.
Honey doesn't just work on desktop. It also works on your iPhone, too. Just activate it on Safari, in your phone, and save on the go. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. We'd never recommend something that we don't use, so get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/itdaily. That is joinhoney.com/itdaily. Thanks, Honey.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the news now with, awards. We love the awards, don't we, folks? The Grammys. If you didn't watch it, you probably don't care, but there was a few notable moments out of last night's Grammy Awards. Sadly, no one was slapped on stage in front of anyone else, so the ratings remained low.
Yeah.
With the show only pulling in around 9 million live viewers, despite being slightly more entertaining than the Oscars every year, thanks to elaborate musical numbers.
At least they have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not exactly going to get a stage play of Oscar movies during the Oscars.
It's just, the Grammys is always such a bizarre mix of music that no one's going to be all that happy with what happens. Like,
I do love that BTS was nominated a bunch this year and did a live performance and won nothing. And all their fans are very mad. They have formed together to buy the rest of Twitter.com so they can ban all of the other artists.
Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, no one's mind is going to be changed by the Grammy Awards. It's even more divisive than the Oscars because musical taste and popularity is even more distinct and subjective than what happens in film.
Yeah, there's only so many movies every year.
Yeah. There are thousands of albums released every year. What's popular versus what is good is such a massive difference that it's not even worth covering. You're already well aware that the Grammys are a popularity contest for the most part. But hey, it is good to see that Bo Burnham was able to nab a Grammy for his Netflix special Inside.
Yeah.
Or like specifically one song from Inside.
Yeah.
It was in a category like song produced for visual medium. Categories get very specific.
But hey, look, it's good. He still gets the trophy. Doesn't matter if it says Album of the Year or Song Created for Visual Media.
What other comedians got awards?
I don't know. No idea. Didn't pay attention. Certainly not someone that was canceled, because that would mean they were not canceled.
Yeah.
That would mean cancel culture doesn't actually exist. Anyways, the other big awards for the night went to Silk Sonic, which is a supergroup composed of Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, and John Baptiste, whose live performance of Freedom was honestly one of the best of the night. I really enjoyed it. Chris Stapleton had yet another standout live television performance of his song Cold off of his most recent album Starting Over, which was also nominated and won awards for Best Country Solo Performance, Best Country Song, and Best Country Album. Seriously, I know a lot of you out there watching, you probably hate country music. Chris Stapleton is single-handedly saving this genre from itself in recent years. He's very good. Cold is phenomenal. And if for some reason that one's too slow for you, you want a real knee slapper instead, check out the song Arkansas.
Unless it mentions jeans, boots, trucks, ice cold beer, and and more trucks, I don't care. Not interested.
That's the problem some of his songs may include those, but they're actually well-written and not just pop songs with slide guitar added to them.
Sounds a little artsy, fartsy, hoity-toity.
It's good.
I want something that sounds like Nickelback with banjos added. Anything else is, for grandpa.
Yeah. As for the rock categories, Foo Fighters pretty much swept it all, which is, it's a fitting tribute after the untimely death of their drummer, Taylor Hawkins. Very fucking sad and abrupt and weird. But as for the metal category, well, Dream Theater won.
What year is it?
Obviously a bit upsetting, not because they don't fall into the very loosely defined version of what is considered metal by the Grammys, but mainly because they were up against bands like Deftones, not really metal, but okay, Mastodon, not their best work, but whatever, and Gojira. Gojira should have won this easily. They've never won a Grammy before. They should have won this one. Their most recent album is not only some of their best work, but it's easily their catchiest and most accessible. They were robbed. Dream Theater, you've been around since the 80s. It's okay. You cannot win one once.
At least since the 80s.
Yeah.
Mr. Kanye West was also awarded 2 Grammy Awards this year, despite his absence from the awards show. And to celebrate his wins, he just decided to go ahead and cancel his performances at Coachella just a couple of days before he was actually scheduled to take the stage.
Yeah.
I actually love this. I think this is hilarious.
It's really funny that they ever thought he was going to perform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, but anyone who's been following Kanye's very public meltdowns over the past few months, years.
Well, they really peaked in the past few months.
Yeah, they probably should have seen this coming. According to Variety, the reasons for his cancellation was not immediately clear, although a source tells Variety that he had not rehearsed or prepared for the appearance. They probably forgot to put it in his calendar.
I mean, that's the thing, though, is it's like, at what point does anyone check in and go, hey, because when you headline Coachella, it is usually a very large production.
Yeah, you've got your own stage crew bringing in stuff for the stage
literal
show.
Sets.
Yeah.
Guest appearances. You have a certain time frame. There's a lot that goes into it. And for no one to just make a call and be like, hey, so how are things going? How are things going with Ye's performance? Obviously, you guys have rented some kind of rehearsal space and, I don't know, even put an order in for props, materials, sets. We just want to get an idea of what's going to go on, considering he is headlining one of the largest music festivals in America in 10 days. How are things going? Remember when he built a mountain to do a gospel show on top of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, rumors had been circulating that Travis Scott would be joining West for the performance for his first festival show since
Astroworld.
When was the last one? Oh yeah, the time where he summoned the dark powers of Satan to kill people in the crowd. Mm-hmm. So probably a good thing. But yeah, Coachella's first 2 nights will be headlined by Harry Styles and Billie Eilish. Rock! We love rock music, don't we, folks? We love rock music festivals, don't we, folks?
Yeah.
So the festival essentially hedged its bets on West by billing EDM titans Swedish House Mafia in an unspecified spot on the lineup listed at the bottom of the official announcement poster, leaving open the option of that group replacing Kanye as Sunday's headliner in the event that he pulls out. It could work. The festival's just 11 days away, so...
I do like that they added them at the bottom. They were like, and coming back to the desert, Swedish House Mafia. And it's just like completely planned as a backup when Kanye inevitably drops out.
Yeah.
But hey, discounted Coachella tickets now. Not that I could stand to be in a crowd right now, but if you're into rock music and you want to see the premier rock music festival in America,
Little Harry Styles.
little Billie Eilish. I haven't looked at the lineup because I had no plans to go at all, but Turnstile's on it, so that's cool.
Okay.
And their set's probably going to be great, and it's going to be on a stage that's way too small for them. But that's how you want to do it. When you play Coachella for the first time, you want to have people pouring out of the sides. So that's good. Good for them. Although, I think, like, Shaky Knees in Atlanta is a good rock festival. I'm trying to think of others.
Bonnaroo's usually pretty good.
You got to go to Europe for a real rock music festival.
Yeah.
You got to go to Rock'em Park, Download Fest. I don't know. Europe does it right.
Mine, Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Yeah. They know what they're doing over there.
Yeah. They appreciate the rock and or roll.
I haven't even looked at Lollapalooza's lineup. I wonder if that one's similar to Coachella.
Lollapalooza is pretty much in line with Coachella usually.
Yeah.
So
the last time I went was like 12 years ago, and it was still mostly a rock and
I had a good time
a
when
little
I
bit of hip hop, a little bit of electronic, but mostly rock.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
There you go.
Rock is dead. Sorry.
It's not. Actually, music's the best that it's ever been. You just have to know where to look. Anyway, since we missed all the news while we were in Austin, here's an update to the ongoing slap heard round the world saga.
I'm so fucking sick of this shit.
We are too. It's just, it's because we were gone. Yes.
Yeah.
Will Smith has voluntarily resigned from the Academy, meaning he lost his right to vote.
Wow, racist.
In the Academy Awards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In a publicly released statement, Smith said the following: I am resigning from membership in the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences and will accept any further consequences the board deems appropriate. Adding, changes take time, and I'm committed to doing the work that ensure that I never again allow violence to overtake reason.
Sure, okay.
A bunch of his projects have also been put on hold for the time being. That's pretty much just everyone in Hollywood sitting and waiting for this to continue to blow over.
Yeah. It is. People have been pointing out it's like, I mean, it's hard to take this seriously when there's just like so many other people in Hollywood who've been done way worse things without any real consequences. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. I still am under the assumption that this is literally going to blow over in an idea.
I think,
like, it's going to be like, hey, Bad Boys 4's coming out.
Yeah, that's all. Like, they just need to shut the fuck up for a couple weeks. People move on.
I wonder if either of his kids are playing Coachella, because they're probably going to get booed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, another update from last week involves Madison Cawthorne, who really seemed to upset the GOP with his comments regarding cocaine and orgies, making the statements that he made on a podcast a little over a week ago seem as if they were actually based in reality.
Yeah.
If he just made this all up and it had no basis in reality, why would members of the Republican Party be so outrageously upset by it, though? Anyway,
it's a little strange.
After those comments went viral, he had to roll himself into a closed-door meeting with House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, which resulted in McCarthy losing faith in the young congressman. After that meeting, Cawthorne claimed that he'd only seen a staffer doing a key bump in a parking lot or a parking garage from 100 yards away, which does not match his original claims and also doesn't make sense. If someone did a bump of cocaine in a dark parking garage 100 yards away from you, you would not be able to tell what it is they're actually doing.
Well,
unless you have the eyes of a fucking eagle.
That's the thing, is when you lose one ability, the other ones become stronger.
Well, I was hanging out in the parking lot with my binoculars, like you do.
No. He lost the control of his legs, so his eyes got better.
Oh,
it's like when someone's like blind and they have to hear like echolocation to get around.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. So there you go. He's got eagle eyes because he's American.
That's right.
I got bald eagle eyes.
He eats his carrots.
But for some strange reason, this story continues to frustrate members of the Republican Party. Some members of the GOP have already come out in support of Cawthorne's opponents. And North Carolina Republican State Senator Richard Burr called Cawthorne an embarrassment. And more recently, former South Carolina Representative Trey Gowdy went on a 10-minute rant on Fox News regarding Cawthorne, telling him to name names or just admit that he is making it all up. And all of this is just so out of place, considering the morally horrific stuff that this party has been involved in publicly.
Yeah, there's been just too many insane statements to count in the last 5+ years. And suddenly, oh my gosh, my pearls.
It's like,
how could he say these things?
How many things just in the past year has what's her name, Marjorie Taylor Greene said, where the party is just like, yeah, she's crazy.
I mean,
and then this guy says one thing, and they're like, whoa, hold on.
They did strip MTG of like all of her committee appointments.
Okay.
Like, she all she is a single vote in Congress, and that's it. So
all right. Well, yeah. I mean, it is just it is odd that they're like laying it on to this one so specifically for so long.
It is interesting, which he's probably telling the truth.
Yeah. The Republican Party not only seems to be deeply upset by Madison Cawthorne's statements, but also very unified in their response to his claims. A simple, oh, he's making shit up would suffice, but the constant and prolonged insistence that he publicly retract his statements really makes us think that there are some coke-fueled orgies going on. Maybe he was lying, but also inadvertently telling the truth. Either way, it's oddly funny to watch so many members of their party squirm for what amounts to just nothing if he was actually lying, which he is known to do. He is prolific at lying.
He is a pathological liar.
So it would be very easy for them to go, oh, he's making shit up.
Yeah.
All right,
He's
see you later.
obviously lying.
Yeah,
So-
he does it all the time. But no, Trey Gowdy goes on Fox News for 10 minutes.
It's disgraceful. Name names now or apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, finally today, not that we're big fans of Barstool Sports by any means, but their interview series really hit its peak this weekend because they were able to lock down a one-on-one interview with one of the biggest internet personalities in recent years, Hasbullah. Now, you're probably aware, but Hasbullah has a genetic disorder that makes him look like a very small child despite being 19 years old. There have been numerous memes and videos featuring Hasbullah, but an actual interview with him is rare. So if you're interested, check that out.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of really funny quotes.
He's from Eastern Europe or some shit, right?
I think he's from a small town in Russia.
Yeah. Okay. So what does he think about Ukraine? Did they ask him about that?
No, they completely avoided that, and the interview did take place in like Dubai.
Oh.
But yeah, a lot of fighting words. There's another internet personality that suffers from the same disorder as him that he keeps antagonizing.
Andy Milonakis?
No, no. But yeah, there's a lot of very funny quotes in this. They also bring him a big bowl of pudding, which is funny. And then he tries to fight the guy interviewing him because he misinterprets what he's saying because he doesn't speak fluent English. Yeah. So he misinterprets what the guy says as like a threat. So he runs over and grabs his hair and starts punching him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, there was a huge travel clusterfuck in the southeast portion of the United States this weekend, and I was stuck in the middle of it. I was awake and stuck in airports for almost 24 hours on Saturday after our live show, and it was pretty bad. But all things considered, I had a lot less to lose than the multiple families I saw with children with Mickey ears going to Disney World for spring break.
All right, kids, we've saved up for the last 5 years to get you what you got, what you've been asking this whole time. A trip to Disney World, the happiest place on earth. And it's happening the first weekend of April, 2022.
World's back open, spring break. Your mom and I got work off. We're taking you down to Disney World. It was really sad. So literally every flight to Florida was canceled. And therefore every rental car was sold out. Mm-hmm. Every hotel was booked. You couldn't get a Greyhound bus. The guy in front of me was trying to book a Turo, which is like someone's car. Yeah. So you have to bring it back. So he was like going to drive, and it's like 6 hours at least from Atlanta to Orlando through a torrential downpour, which was the reason that it was all shut down anyway, to only then have to drive back to Atlanta to drop the car off. There was a group of people behind me that were supposed to get on a cruise in a couple hours that I'm sure that's ruined. And it's not like you're going to be like, hey, I guess we'll meet up with the boat somewhere else. Yeah. So all things considered, I was just like, look, I got up to the counter. I'm like, just send me home. I'll go back to LA.
I give up.
I'll consider this a loss. But in saying that, it'll be a somewhat shortened week for us because I was able to book a flight back to Florida. So I'm going to go this weekend. So it'll be a little bit shorter of a week, but hopefully you understand. And again, thank you to everyone that came out to Austin to see us live. Thank you, Rooster Teeth, for having us. Hopefully we didn't freak out the Rooster Teeth fans.
No, they loved it. They all loved it.
Because we were getting so much positive feedback from people who watch our show. And then I went on the hashtag, and it's like people that have no idea who we are just like, great time watching Gus and Barbara and everyone else at the Roost Podcast. I'm like, we must have offended so many people with everything we did. But
oh well.
Yeah. There were a couple who came by who were like, didn't hear of you before. I'm going to subscribe to your channel. I was
Yeah.
like, yes,
Yeah.
every sub counts. So thank you for joining us there, and thank you for watching the show. If you haven't already, click sub, hit the like button,
Smash that bell.
click the join button to become a member
Yeah.
if you really enjoy the show. And we'll see you soon for some tech news and some weird news. Bye.
Bye.